The Swing It and Ding It, an iHeartMedia podcast.
I mean, this is a birdie fest.
It's a Philly show, baby.
Let's go.
All right, welcome in to Swing It and Ding It. Moose and Maze on this almost June week. So still a lot of rain last week, Harry, in the Delaware Valley. I mean, just not a great Memorial Day weekend for the game of golf in our area, man. Just hate to see it.
And we got some more this morning. In fact, it just ended in my area.
Yeah.
I'll be looking to get out today at 1:50 at the 1912 Club. It'll be fine by then. But, man, it's just like that storm just came in over the weekend and just seemed to sit there. And we got a soaker for like 3 straight days. It seemed like, you didn't see the sun until late Monday afternoon. It decided to come out. And I felt for all the people that, go to the mountains or the shore and you got little kids and they're cooped up inside. Look at me, the guy with no kids, thinking of the people with kids, all cooped up in a shore house with no place to go. And the kids looking at mom and dad saying, what are we going to do now? What's there to do?
Brutal. But yeah, but it looks like after this little rain coming through around noon, we're gonna have all through the weekend nice days. I have men's league tonight at the Legacy Club. Looking forward to that big time.
Now, how will you adjust back from the DR to the Legacy Club? Not only do you have the time zone difference, a 1 hour difference, right? But
actually, there wasn't because it's only in the winter time.
Oh, okay.
Which is interesting. Yeah,
interesting.
But it's going to chipping not off of the Bermuda. It took me a while to get used to that.
Yeah, different grasses.
Yeah. I went with the Brandon Matthews lesson that he gave me when we were in Florida. Higher bounce, swing through the ball, and I had some success chipping tight. I did not have a lot of success pitching. I was coming up short pitching. I was driving the crap out of the ball the last day. Dead center of the fairway, would have 85 in, 90 in. And I would either come up short or hit a bunker, and I was scrambling. But we'll get into all that, Harry. We'll get into all that for sure. But a lot going on in the Philadelphia area in a game of golf. Of course, we haven't talked since the PGA Championship with Aaron Rai winning his first major. Finishes with a 65, 9 under, 274, 3 clear of Rahm and Smalley, who Smalley just hung around all weekend. First English winner of the PGA Championship since 1919, Harry.
Unreal. It really was. He wears the 2 gloves, and I'm surprised there's not, whatever glove manufacturer that he's using. So I'm surprised there's not a marketing campaign out there. And I want to talk about that in a second too. But yeah, you mentioned the final round 65, and the thing about it is that he was +1 through the first 8 holes, which were considered the gettable holes at Aronimink all week. So there wasn't a lot of gettable holes there, as we all know how this played out. But then he went 6 under over the next 10 holes. And, I mean, it was incredible the way he played. He just never flinched. And I know, after, he won, and it's kind of like, oh, well, he's not one of the big names. We're kind of disappointed. JT made a run, where was Scotty Scheffler? And we get used to these names, Rory McIlroy's and all those kind of guys. Dude, this guy played unbelievable golf. And the fact that, okay, he doesn't hit it 320 off the tee. So what? He plays a different game. He keeps it in front of him. He's as straight as a string. And I tell you, the guy putted the lights out on some of the most difficult greens that these guys have seen outside of U.S. Opens in maybe their career.
Yeah. And there was a lot of talk about course setup the first couple days, right? And I think, it's what we deal with all the time here. It's Northeast golf.
Yeah.
It was cold. It was windy. The greens are tough. They're not flat. It's like, welcome to the neighborhood, guys. Like, this is what it is.
And I got to give a shout out to Jason Sobel, one of our repeat guests here on the show. He put out a tweet, I believe it was on Friday, the second round, and he said that the PGA is being played on a U.S. Open setup in Open Championship conditions. And I think that summed it up perfectly, because that weather the first 2 days was like, you and I deal with this and we hate it.
Yeah.
It's brutal. It's like, is spring ever going to really get here? Can the sun come out? Can the wind stop blowing? And it was
Philly golf.
Brutal. Yes,
you got to persevere. Those who persevere come out on top.
Yeah,
And that's
you're
what
not
happened.
kidding. And it was I thought it was great the way it played. I mean,
Yeah.
the PGA has been one of the majors, the one major that's sort of struggled with its identity,
Yeah.
over the years, and I think they're trying to feel their way around it and figure it out. And I thought this had like a U.S. Open kind of identity in the way the course was set up. But what I was told was that the PGA got significant pressure from the host club to make sure that this was not a birdie fest. Like let's make this really hard, and they did it. And Scotty Scheffler said it's some of the hardest set of pins that he'd seen. Okay, that's the world number one player saying that about the setup. I mean, when 43.9% of putts from 5 to 15 feet were made. That's the lowest rate of any event thus far this year. And I mean, it was cool to watch. It really was. Although I'd like to see more birdies. There weren't a lot of birdieable par fours. The par threes were brutal. We all knew that. There was one that was like 160 yards. Everything else was at 200 plus and tough. And there's only 2 par fives, so there wasn't a real, a whole host of birdie opportunities. They shortened the tee on 13, and guys could drive that, and that was pretty cool to watch. But man, I'll tell you, some of the pins where I was like, you're I'm 4-putting probably,
Donald Ross will get you, man.
No doubt, and Gil
He'll get
Hanse,
you.
of course, and Wagner with the renovation. I mean, the course held up. It was beautiful to watch on television. The blimp shots and the drone shots and everything. It was really cool. Philly golf. I tell you, Jim Nantz and the CBS crew were throwing flowers at Philadelphia golf all week long, which was kind of cool to hear and see.
Yeah, I saw
really
Jim
cool.
did a members event at White Marsh, I believe, too. Did you see that?
Yeah, he was actually given an honorary membership at White Marsh
Yes.
Valley Country Club at that event, and that was cool to see. And I found out that it went all the way back to when he was a kid. His parents took him from New Jersey, grew up in North Jersey, I think, and they took him down to the IVB Classic. Industrial Valley Bank used to have a professional tournament there in the 70s and 80s. I forget what the last year that they had it there. But in 1973, and Nance was a big Tom Weiskopf fan. Like, that was his guy. And that Weiskopf had a heck of a year in 1973. That's when he won his only major, the Open Championship. He finished second to Jack numerous times in all the big tournaments, but only won one major. But Nance was so enamored with Weiskopf and followed him around at White Marsh and just became attached to the club and has talked about it, glowingly. Has probably been there and played it many times. I know Fred Couples, his good buddy, has been there and played it a few times, and it just sort of became kind of just an admirer of the place, and they gave him an honorary membership at that event, and that's pretty cool.
Like to get that member number.
Yeah.
Let me head out there.
All right.
Rack up Jim's tab.
Hello, friends. Let's go. So
how about the other big story? Well, obviously, some of the other finishes. You had Rory with a T7, along with Cam Smith.
Yeah.
So somebody who was kind of drifting away from leaderboards has a change with coaching.
Yep.
And it was great to see him kind of show up because his clock is ticking on some of these. And I was a huge fan of his, and it was good to see him show up and show out a little bit.
Yeah, it really was. That was his best finish in a major since a T6 at the 2024 Masters. And it actually broke a streak of 6 straight missed cuts for him in majors. But it's his 10th top 10 in a major, which is pretty incredible.
Wow.
So, yes, I agree. It's good to see him back. When you put him on really hard greens, man, he just seems to love it because he's such a great putter. And John Rahm, you mentioned earlier, his best major finish at the PGA was his best finish since the Open in 2023. So it's been a long time since we've seen John Rahm at the top of a leaderboard hanging around, and he was hanging around. That was cool to see. JT shot 65 with 1 bogey. Which was at the 3rd hole, had 6 birdies in the final day and made a run, man. And he was the clubhouse leader. And it was pretty cool that, like, the stories that came out of that, in that, he had to hang around all day, and the score was holding up right until the very end. And the story came out where he told the media that he was a clubhouse leader. I forget at what tournament it was, but he went and had 4 or 5 beers while he's watching the rest of the tournament playing out, thinking, the wind's going to kick up. I got no chance. Well, the wind didn't kick up, and it was looking more and more like he was going to have to go out into the range and get ready to play a playoff. And his caddy was like an hour away eating lunch at a Subway restaurant or something. He's texting him like, what are we going to do? And finally, it didn't come where he was in the playoff, but he's like, I'm never doing that again. Like, imagine him just sitting in there, pounding a couple of lagers, and all of a sudden it's like, dude, you better go out and warm up. You're going to be in a playoff in about a half hour.
Yeah, that's got to be a feeling. That's got to be a feeling. Yeah. The other funny story, well, not I don't know, maybe it wasn't funny for him, but Garrick Higo with the clock, and you hear it, but you're like, did he oversleep? Like, what happened? And then you see, no, he was there. He was on the range. He was right there. You see him rush up, and he just doesn't make it in time. And then he has one of the all-time classic press conferences, where he says he was on time, but wasn't on time. And
right. But to his credit, he went out and shot 3 under, got credit for 1 under. Knowing that from the start can really screw you up. And he went out and played a heck of a round of golf, ended up missing the cut by one stroke. But I didn't know that rule. Now, I'm going to be honest. I didn't know that you had to be on the tee box. Like, let's say you're the third guy going off of your threesome, right? So you're like, okay, Moose is going off first, so I don't have to be there. You have to be there on the tee box for the tee time, regardless of when you go in the order. I did not know that.
Yeah, that makes sense too. You don't want to be walking up while guys are getting, you got to kind of be in your spot, stationary. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it's funny because it was like 19 seconds, but he's like, if the time was 7:30, I was there at 7:30, but it was 7:30, 19.
Yeah.
You start questioning the concept of time.
Yeah. And how about the guy just telling him as he's walking on, we're docking you 2 strokes, right out of the gate.
Next on the tee.
Yes, at +2. Here he is starting at 2 over par. But man, to go back to Rise round really quick, because I put together a couple of shots that just really won him the tournament. And it started on the 9th hole. He hit a 40-foot eagle putt on the 9th hole. That was one of the 2 par 5s. Then he goes and makes a huge 10-foot par putt on 10, which played as one of the toughest holes all week long, that 10th hole, starting the back 9. Then he makes an approach on 11, to just a couple of feet, and they had that pin tucked. And with all those bunkers around that green, that crazy green on 11.
Yeah.
And then he makes the bunker shot on 13, the short par 4. He hit it in the right front corner trap and then made the bunker shot, which was unbelievable. Then he goes on to, what did he do next? He had, on 15, he hit less than driver on that long par 4, and he had 225 in, and all the announcers, Trevor Immelman and all these guys are questioning the approach, and he stuck to his game plan. It's a tight fairway and it's cantered, and he had 225 in, he hit it to 25 feet and made par. And then on 17, of course, the one that clinched it all, the 68-foot birdie putt from across the green that went right in the cup. So think about over 100 feet of putts in 2 putts that he made on 9 and 17. I'll tell you, that guy earned it, man.
On those greens? Yeah.
Incredible. And, it's not a sexy name. He doesn't have his own Instagram. He goes, through the his sponsor's Instagram. He's just a quiet dude that works his rear end off. And, I just think he's a deserving champion. It's just because it's not one of these guys that we typically talk about. But the gloves, did you notice? They don't fit that tight. Like when you get a golf glove, it's almost like it's a half size too small.
Yeah.
And you got to break it in. His gloves look like they were almost like gloves you'd go out to wear to pull weeds. Like I don't get it. I want to know more about these stinking gloves.
Yeah. Yeah. We need a full breakdown of the gloves. What kind, how long, how often he changes them. I want to know everything about it.
Right. Yeah.
I'll have to do a full investigation.
Because Tommy Two Gloves Gainey on the Champions Tour wears 2 gloves, hence his name, but they're tight ones. And he goes through, I think, 2 pairs per round.
Jeez.
So, that's what I was.
Yeah.
That's what
I reposted today. FootJoy put out that you should replace your gloves every 5 rounds. I said, did you, FootJoy?
Right. Yeah, thanks. Yeah, at almost $30 a pop. Yeah,
I'll hang on to mine until I can see my palms.
Exactly right. Yeah, I got holes in right here. I got the perforations start to open on the fingers. It's a disaster.
Yeah. Well, Philly Golf showed out on the national stage with the professionals, but Harry, Philly Golf also showed out all across the area with the Gap Mid-Am, obviously, that we went out to in advance.
Yeah.
With the team matches, just a lot going on in the area, and it's great to see some of the deserving champions.
Yeah, it really was. And, you and I had the chance we're very fortunate to be able to play 9-10 holes over at Jeffersonville. And we knew, like, even from our level, like, dude, this is going to be really hard. Like, there are going to be a lot of three putts. There are going to be some guys, really scratching their head, trying to make pars on these greens. But props to Roberto Nieves of Lulu. He wins the 43rd Gap Mid-Am by 6 strokes. 6 strokes. They ended up +4. But he's 6 strokes over fellow Lulu player Ryan Tall and Briarwood's Chris Beloga, okay? Nieves finished +4 over 54 holes. Now, Ryan Tall was one of only 2 players to break par all week at Jeffersonville. He shot a 2-under round of 68 in the first round, along with Philmont's Anthony Saltarelli. He had an opening round of 69. So think about that. The winner doesn't shoot under par. He shot 2 rounds of 70. The second and third round, which are par at Jeffersonville. But 2 guys broke par in that entire tournament of all those quality players. That golf course is awesome.
It is.
It
It is. And
really
they talked
is.
about it before. You saw the length and people were questioning it. But when we played it, you knew. And then, add in some weather. You knew it was going to be a challenge. And it was awesome to see.
No doubt about it. 1912's Dalton Ballphaser, who's been on this show, works for Gap, finished with a top 20. He made the cut and finished in a top 20. So congrats to him too. But yeah, that was really cool. And I've reached out to Roberto to try to get him on the show. He's away on a work assignment right now, but we're going to try to get him on at a future show. So
cool.
Yep. And then yesterday, the Haverford Trust event over at Sunnybrook, which is the 28th annual, and this is a $100,000 check to local pros. I mean, this is big time, life changing money for these guys. Billy Stewart of Liberty National, the Union League's Liberty National, won the big cardboard check and finished 6 under with a round of 66. Beating Joanna Coe, who's out of Marion. She was runner up with a finish of 4 under par. So big props to Billy Stewart over at Liberty National for winning that one.
Oh yeah, I saw our boy Mike Dinda post that win.
Yeah, I think he said drinks are on you or something at the end of the post.
Yeah.
But we got to also give props to Lulu, who won the Gap team matches again. So congrats to John Russ, Jim Sullivan, and all the boys over at the Lulu for taking it down once again. They just keep winning over there, man. Club
of champions over there, man. You know what? It's cool to see. They care about it, right? As do most of these top clubs.
Yep.
They put thought into it. It matters who's on these teams, and they show up and perform when it matters. So awesome to see. The only thing I wish these last a little bit longer into the season. Because I just enjoy hearing about it and covering it and talking about it. So yeah, congrats to Lulu on
and if they could get better weather too, because they're usually playing all these events in less than optimal conditions. But yeah, it was the same Final Four as last year too. It was Lulu, Huntington Valley Cricket Club's top team, and then the 1912 club. So
yeah, great stuff.
Yeah,
great stuff. Well, another event that we that happened last week while I was away, so I didn't see a ton of it. Harry, I'm going to rely on you here. Is the CJ Cup, Byron Nelson, but Wyndham Clark. I mean, so interesting, right? You're like, all right, is this guy the real deal? Wins a major, he goes 11 under with a 60, 3 clear of Siwoo Kim. His first win since 2024 at Pebble Beach.
Yep.
Started 2 back on Sunday. Shoots a 28 on the back, Harry.
Yeah, unreal.
I mean, just unbelievable.
Yeah, we talked about Aaron Rye, and then the winner prior to that was Chris Rayton. The guys that are sort of unheralded, not big names. But now you get Wyndham Clark, who's got a major under his belt, took down Rory McIlroy at Los Angeles Country Club a few years ago, and then, like you said, it kind of was in the weeds here for a little while, and he's got all the ability in the world. Talent-wise, he's right up there. It's right here that he kind of screws himself up from time to time, but got his 4th win on tour, and like you said, his first since Pebble Beach, and that was a rain-shortened event. And he actually shot 60 in that final round too. He made every putt on the golf course. I remember watching it. And they shortened it.
First to win, Harry. First to win with 2 closing 60s. For only player to ever do that.
How about that? I mean, now this golf course was obviously very gettable. You know, they've had a lot of issues with this tournament finding a place for it that's, you know, deemed tough enough. Now, Lanny Watkins did this renovation and it looks way better, and it's I think it's going to show up eventually. But they had such soft conditions. They had rain early in the week and no wind. I don't know how these guys go to Texas. They go to Florida in March and they don't get wind. Every time I'm out, the wind's blowing 20 miles an hour. I don't understand it. But if you give these guys those kind of conditions, they're going to tear any place apart. And they tore this place apart.
They're going 30 under.
Yeah, I mean, Siwoo shot a 60 on Friday, and he made a bogey on the final hole, or he could have easily shot 59. Jackson Suber, a young guy out of Ole Miss, shot 61 on Friday. You know, there was just a bunch of rounds out there. If you like birdies, you like watching this tournament. And Wyndham, you know, took it apart on Sunday. Got the big cowboy hat and the trophy. Oh man! But I watched it. I watched. Okay. There was nothing else to do, Moose.
Yeah, I mean, you reined in.
Yeah, my wife played golf. Okay, I played Friday with her, and I walked off after 9 because it was raining. She went ahead and finished. She went the rest of the 9 holes. She goes out again on Sunday in the rain and walked 18. There might have been 5 people on the golf course. Then she played Monday and played 27. Now the weather started to get a little bit better on Monday, but did all that. I didn't play at all after Friday. I'm like, I sat inside and watched the golf and, you know, drank vodka, basically.
Yeah. And that's what it makes you want to do. Yeah. Well, I had a little bit better fortune, Terry.
You did. I want to hear about it.
Yeah. Got back to one of my favorite places on earth, back to Casa de Campo. Actually, I missed Robert Bertel. I didn't see him. I left him some swinging thing of gear for him and his daughter Eleanor. But yeah, the redesign of Teeth, not the redesign, the refurbishment of Teeth of the Dog, where everything was, you know, all the bunkers, fairways, greens, everything. And it was just absolutely beautiful. I mean, the bunkering there is just incredible. So we played Teeth of the Dog, played Die 4 again, and then Teeth of the Dog in the afternoon. So we got to see kind of, you know, a little bit of a different light. But I mean, just incredible. I think, you know, the greens are going to take a little bit to kind of firm up. They were slow with putting, but they weren't, the ball wasn't sticking on them. So you had to have a little bit more strategy there. But just an awesome time. We had a week-long competition. We went Southwest Philly versus South Jersey. Nice. And unfortunately Southwest Philly just got boat raced. But
how many guys went?
It was 6. So we went 3 on 3. Every match we do skins, we do closest to the pin on every par 3. So you're, you know, handing out envelopes at dinner every night and getting cash and handing cash back. Just a lot of fun. But yeah, I mean, that place is just spectacular. Absolutely spectacular. The service, the caddies, our guy, Big Poppy, who's always our caddy, always takes care of us. We actually, on 15, we jumped in the water. There was no one behind our groups.
I saw that. I was following everything on Instagram. You were putting everything up on the Instagram stories. Yeah. It was fun to watch.
Yeah, there's steps that go into the Caribbean Sea there on 15. Yeah. And I said, is anybody behind our guys? And he's like, no, not for like 3 holes. I said, all right, I'm going in. Jumped right in the ocean and took a little quick dip. Played the next 2 holes just in golf shorts.
Oh, so you went shirtless?
Yeah. Yeah, shoeless and shirtless for the next hole. Had to dry out, but I forgot I had my belt on still. My boy Dom still had his glove on. I had you got your glove on. But it was tremendous. Need to get back there again, just because everything about it is it's just a great spot, man.
Well, how long before you just purchase real estate there and just?
Well, we talked a lot about it. I mean, if a bunch of us get in on it, right? We all go together once or twice and then rent it out. I mean, I don't see why not. I mean, I wish we would have done it 10, 15 years ago.
Right.
But they take such good care of you there. They really do. It is 10 out of 10. And I knew, so after that, I was heading to Florida for a couple of days to meet the family. But I wasn't going to bring my clubs. So I reached out to our friends at Shipsticks, who I've used in the past, and nice and easy, packaged them up. The folks at Teeth of the Dog and Casa de Campo make sure they were picked up on time, and they got in 2 days early in time for men's league tonight at the Legacy Club.
Awesome.
You know, and it's funny. Last time I remember I used ship sticks for Pebble Beach.
Yeah.
Because I have tight connections when I go there. And I even remember thinking, like, well, isn't this just like shipping? Like, isn't this just like going to, like a FedEx or just shipping your clubs? But then when something goes wrong, you realize what Shipsticks is and what the service model is, because leaving California, there was an issue with the flight that the clubs are on. They got delayed. I was playing in a match down at AC Country Club that next day, and the clubs were supposed to arrive the day before. They're in constant communication with me.
Mm-hmm.
Do you need them when you need them? They send a courier to the Philly airport that morning and drive the clubs down to AC Country Club to make my tee time. The folks at Shipsticks.
It's like it's like you get the tour treatment, like a tour player. Hey, we got these clubs here. This guy's going off at 10:08.
Everybody gets that treatment, Harry, with Shipsticks, man. They look out for you. They make sure
awesome.
you have what you need. The service model is great, and can't say enough about that. If you're able to, if you need the service, take a look and let them know Swing It and Ding It sent you for sure.
Yeah, we need to get a Swing It and Ding It code. Maybe Powers can work into that. We can have our own code that the people can use for a discount.
Yeah, yeah, it was great.
I've used them many times. Yeah,
yeah. Any other golf, Harry, or?
Well, we finished. We had the spring member, and we finished one stroke out of apparently some money. There was a group in our flight that beat us by a shot that won some money. So we were close, but we didn't win any cash. Me and my partner. I could have played a lot better. I did not play very well. I didn't drive it very well, and that's a problem. When I don't drive it very well, I got little chance of making some good numbers. So we have to improve that, and that sort of started this whole avalanche. Afterwards, I went up on the range at the 1912 club and used a demo club that they had in the pro shop just to hit some drives. The tournament's over. The guys that were in the flights that went to the playoff were all getting ready to go out again, and I just went up the range, took a bucket, maybe 12 balls, and hit this Quantum with a Denali shaft in it, like a lighter shaft, 50-gram shaft in it. And I was all warmed up. I'd played 18 holes, so I'm ready to go. And I just started striping the driver up into the corner. Of course, now, the tournament's over. Now I'm striping the driver up into the corner of the range.
Ring him up.
Ball flight's perfect. And I'm like, man, where was this the last 2 days? And I looked at the shaft because I'm like, I'm not going in there and buying this driver. And I looked at the shaft. I took a picture of the shaft. I go home. I find it on eBay. I buy it. It's like $90. I don't know if it was refurbished or what, but it was like new with a Callaway tip on it. And I was going to put it in my AI smoke head and thinking, this will be better for me. The thing arrives a couple days later, broken in half.
Ugh.
The shaft is snapped. I still have it in the box over the floor. I opened up the door and I saw the box was like kind of crushed. And I'm like, oh boy, this does not look good. And the box was really flimsy. It wasn't like a brand new box.
Yeah.
I open it up and I'm pulling it out. It was like a fishing rod, broken, hanging on by one thread of fiberglass. I'm like, great, I can't win. Because I want to go I'm going on a golf trip and I wanted to have this new shaft in my driver and to try to hit better drives. So then I'm scrambling. So I'm texting people that I know. I text our buddy Scott Miner, who was on the show a couple of months ago. And I said, what can you do? Can you find me this shaft? He goes, yeah, I got you, buddy. You got to come in. I came in early before they even opened. They opened at 10. I was there at 8:15. He's waiting at the door, and we started hitting drivers. This shaft, that shaft, boom, boom. Next thing you know, I walk out of there with a new Quantum triple diamond max head and two shafts, two aftermarket shafts, one 50-gram and one 40-gram that is still on order. So now I got the shaft for the AI smoke. Eventually, I'll put that in there. And then I got a 40-gram Ventus coming for the Quantum.
Oh, man. We're sick.
And I traded in a couple of clubs. They're still doing the trade-in deals. It's a good
nice
deal. Yeah, the Callaway stuff at PGA Tour Superstore.
Got to have the feeling, Harry. You got to have the feeling. Got to have it.
Scott Miner, he's the doctor of spin. He's the spin doctor.
Oh, man. Well, Tara, I'll tell you what. I also cracked open Tom Coyne's new book, of course, called Home. And I'm about maybe a third of the way in. And I can't wait to keep reading it. I mean, if you haven't gotten it yet, I mean, just the way he describes, of course, the way he describes golf and golf holes, but the way he describes people and their stories, I don't know. There's like a strange, like, there isn't a choose your own adventure part of this. You have no choice in it, but you almost feel like you're part of it. Like, what would you do in this situation? Just, it's so good. I can't recommend it highly enough. So if you get a chance, make sure you check out Tom's book.
A course called
awesome.
Home. And you were reading that on the plane, right? To and from the DR. Yeah. And that's a pretty easy flight. I remember I went to Punta Cana.
Yeah, that's where you're flying to.
I didn't go to Teeth of the Dog, though, but we just flew into the Punta Cana and stayed at a resort. And it was a pretty easy flight.
Yeah, not bad. Direct flights from Philly. And it's about 45 minutes to... They redid La Romana Airport, but there's nothing direct. It's direct from Miami, but nothing direct from here yet. That's 5 minutes away. So hopefully that'll be there. Howard, you saw there was a change. PGA of America. Is it Don Rea Jr.? Apparently he was removed, and he was the guy who was most responsible, they felt, for not addressing the fan behavior at the Ryder Cup.
Oh, is that right?
Interesting move that I saw yesterday.
Interesting. I missed that, but yeah. So how did they blame him? Like,
I think he was the one who came out and kind of downplayed everything too. It's not that bad, and was kind of like really just trying to brush it all under the rug and making excuses instead of just getting in front of it and addressing it in the moment. So I think that they just, all right, we're going to blame somebody, and
somebody's head had to roll. Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting. I didn't see that. Interesting.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, Harry, we got the Charles Schwab. We got no Scotty or no Spieth. Surprising.
Very surprised that no Spieth. Because he's a guy who's still trying to come back and put 4 rounds together, and he has yet to do it. He's shown some flashes. He's hitting the driver really well, but he just can't seem to get it together with the irons or on the greens for 4 straight days, and he's skipping this. I found that pretty interesting as well, no doubt.
Yeah. You have. When we see the line here with our friends at Parx, of course, 6 of the last 7 winners have been 50-1 or longer, including the defending champion Ben Griffin. So this is a place where long shots could get it done. I actually went with JJ Spawn in the one and done.
Did you?
But I could see a JT getting a win. I know I'm staying at the top of the board here when 6 out of the last 7 were down the board. Gary Woodland's down the board a little bit. Brian Harmon's down the board a little bit. So this will be an interesting one to see who steps up here in between majors like this.
Yeah, I always like when they go to Colonial. It's an old classic layout, with Ben Hogan lineage. Perry Maxwell designed it way back in 1936. And then, of course, Gil Hance and Wagner renovated it in 2023. I remember after the tournament, they were skinning the fairways and greens as the tournament was finishing up. They started.
Yes, I remember that.
Remember that?
Yeah.
They had all the big earth movers out there. It was pretty interesting. But a par 70, only 7,289 yards. Not a long one for PGA Tour standards. The greens are bent grass with 5,000 square foot average, so they're pretty small. And I believe they've got like a sub-air system or something underneath them now, so they can control the temperatures of these greens. The fairways, approaches, and rough are all Bermuda. The rough's only 2.5 inches, but it's Bermuda rough, so it's still pretty tough. 64 sand bunkers, 4 water hazards that are in play on 6 holes. Average fairway width, pretty average, 25 to 30 yards wide. The horrible horseshoe is the green mile of this golf course, and it comes early. It hits you at 3, 4, and 5. The par 4 dog leg left third hole's 415 yards, and a big long par 3 fourth at tipping out around 250 yards, and then the par 4 that goes along the Trinity River, 476 yards to a square green. There's only 2 par 5s, number 1 and number 11, so you got to get the scoring where you can here. You're not going to see 30 under par this week, I can tell you that. But you talk about a long shot. He's a guy who played well last week, which is a totally different golf course. I get it. But he shot 20 under par, and he hadn't been playing well in a while. Went to school at TCU, which if you can see in the picture, that's their football stadium right behind Colonial Country Club. Okay. So he's played here a lot. Doesn't have great tournament history, but is starting to feel it. Tom Hoagie, I'm putting him in a top 20. He's had 3 top 10s, including last week. And his you want to talk about a long shot? He's 155 to 1 to win the golf tournament. but
yeah.
it might be a guy that's getting hot with his iron. He's a great iron player typically. To put in a fantasy lineup or something. So that jumped out at me. You mentioned Smalley. What's he around? Plus 3,500 to win, somewhere right around there.
Yeah.
I'll take him in the top 10. And Ricky Fowler near the top of the board has been playing some really good golf. I'll put him in the top 10 as well.
Yeah, Smalley's shortened up. He's at 2,800 now at that Parx.
Is he really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. So he must be taking on some money.
Yep.
Rio Hisatsune is a guy I'll put in the top 20. I think he's going to knock one of these down here before too long. Guy just hangs around. I'm going to take Russell Henley in the one and done. He only has 3 top 10s this year, including a T3 at the Masters, but he's made 8 of 11 cuts, and he's number 1 on tour in driving accuracy. He doesn't bomb it. You don't need to bomb it here, but you need to put it in a fairway. Yeah. And he does that. And if his approach game improves, that's a guy, he's like the U.S. Open kind of player. He can just keep it in front of him. And if he can make enough putts, he'll be in the mix.
Yeah. Someone else right around that number is Pearson Cootie that I like.
I had him last week as the one and done.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Harris, somebody dropped off a Fireballs hat in my office.
Oh, wow.
And I don't know who gave it to me. I was away last week. I came back, and this is in the office. I got to put this with my Cleeks hat at home. So I have a collection.
Yes.
Collect them all.
I got the range goats that you got from me a couple of years ago. Before the league totally fades, we'll have all the gear.
Yeah. When the ends will be collector's items. I'm going to keep the tags on it for sure.
Right.
All right, good stuff, Harry. Great to reconnect. Yeah. We got to get out and play some golf soon. I know we're playing next week, I think.
Next Friday, June the 5th. We've got a little get-together we'll talk about. But I'm heading for a golf trip on Friday. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, me and a bunch of college guys will be driving down to Williamsburg to play Kingsmill. They got 3 golf courses there. We're playing all 3. The private course on Friday. I forget which course on... Not the Plantation. And then the one they played in the Anheuser-Busch PGA Tour event that was there for a long time in the 80s and 90s. We're playing that on Sunday and then driving home. So 3 courses in 3 days. A lot of fun.
Weather looks good too,
yeah.
Right? Awesome.
Like mid to high 70s. Should be good.
It's perfect. Love to see it. All right, men's league tonight at Legacy Club. Harry, I got to bounce back. I did not perform in my first ever men's league match 2 weeks ago. So we got to keep it going this week and bounce back. But all right, we'll be back next week. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching.